Smooth lines.
Glamorous new styling.
Smart interior.
New and original design.
Unlike any other car you've ever seen.
Yet surprisingly affordable.
This is Life with Cars on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Here's your host, Troy Olison.
Welcome to Life with Cars. I am your host, Troy Olison. We'll be here every Saturday on Talk Radio 570 KVI, bringing you this new radio show that is dedicated to our lives with cars. We will deliver news and stories from all over the car world, segments including the new car industry and new car reviews, where our guests will include journalists and executives, designers, and engineers from all over the car world. We'll have a segment called Inspiring Cars. This is the collector car world, where we will talk about classics and muscle cars and sports cars and have guests that are private collectors, people who restore cars, all those kinds of things. Memory Lane is a segment that's all about the history of the automobile in our lives and talking about people's lives with cars. So we'll have guests on that have maybe nothing to do with the automotive industry, but everyone's got a life with cars. The racing segment is the art of going fast, and the people who make it happen. We'll have race car drivers, engineers, crew members, anyone with any kind of connection to the racing world on board. And then, of course, we'll cover the news and stories of the events of the certain week that's going on and occasionally come live from a racetrack to bring you right to the action. If it has anything to do with cars, it has a place on Life with Cars. We'll be back right after this to bring you the new car segment and take a look at the new AMGs from Mercedes-Benz.
Life with Cars with Troy Olison. We'll be right back.
At Honda, we know some people are never happy with the way things are.
Big, bigger, biggest, roomiest, longer, smarter, crisper, lower.
Life with Cars continues on Talk Radio 570 KVI.
All right, well, welcome back to Life with Cars. We're starting off our new car industry talk here with green car guy Nick Chambers. We've got Nick on here.
How you doing?
All right, good, Nick. So today we're gonna talk to Nick about a lot of different subjects in the green car world or the alternative fuel world. What can you tell us about some of the new things that have been going on in our state in regards to building infrastructure and things for electric cars?
Yeah, well, actually, we're pretty cutting edge here in Washington for quite a while now, actually. Since the middle of the summer, we've been the first state in the nation to really have a dedicated green car tourism corridor.
So we're on the air with Nick Chambers, our green car expert, and talking about green car ownership and the things that are being done now to put in infrastructure so they can get places and have charging stations. What are some of the changes here in the last 6 months or for the new model year, 2013 with some of the car companies and maybe talk about what are some of the upgrades or the new players in the green car or electric car field?
Yeah, sure. Well, actually, over the last couple of years, we've seen an explosion in the amount of vehicles available. Initially it was just the Nissan Leaf and the Chevy Volt, which are both really good cars. The Volt is, of course, a plug-in hybrid. The Leaf is a pure electric. Yeah, and in the end, it's really just about saving money.
Right. Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah, and that's where you're going to get the people to buy into it when they can show that you're saving money in their pocketbook, and the byproduct is, of course, that it's good for the environment and everything. And I think the funny thing to me about the EcoBoost is people started talking about EcoBoost at the beginning, thinking, oh, that's great. Well, then they found out it was a turbocharged system that was doing it, and they thought, oh, this is just a way to get around insurance, and that because insurance used to ding you if you had a turbo, and now they can call it EcoBoost to show that the only reason we did this is because it's more efficient. But some of the Fords that I've driven with the EcoBoost, it's really an amazing power plant that is performance oriented as well, but at the same time you're getting great gas mileage for something along those lines. So
yeah, sure. Actually, it's not all electric cars, although I tend to sway that way. I like them. But, Volkswagen, a lot of German manufacturers have been pursuing diesel technology for a long time, so you might say they're the experts.
Really appreciate you coming on the show with us today. Again, this was Nick Chambers, our green car expert here on Life with Cars, and we'll definitely keep in touch with Nick throughout the year and as we move forward, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of products, a lot of technology, a lot of news. And Nick will probably be the guy we go to when it comes to the green car side of things to talk about this. Thanks again for coming on the show with us today, and appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. Thanks.
All right, take care. That was Nick Chambers, our green car expert on Life with Cars. We'll be back after the break to jump into our next segment.
Pep Boys, get ready for holiday travel at Pep Boys Winter Dollar Days. Buy 3 installed tires and get the 4th tire for just $1 instantly. And this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, get a $50 bonus gift card on select. Who's gonna drive you home tonight?
Now, Troy Olison and Life with Cars on Talk Radio 570 KVI.
All right, welcome back to Life with Cars. I'm Troy Olison, your host here, and we're entering into what we like to call the Memory Lane segment of the show, where we have a guest on and kind of talk about their life with cars. And today our guest is Tom Bryant, who was the editor-in-chief of Road and Track for many years and worked for Road and Track for 36 years and has become a friend of mine over the years, and we're hoping will be a friend of the show. And welcome, Tom.
Thank you, Troy. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, thanks very much. So tell us a little bit about your career at Road and Track and how that came about. And
Well, it was, as you can imagine, it's like being paid for your hobby.
yeah,
I wrote a letter to Road and Track, said I'd like a job. They wrote back, said we never have any openings. And about 9 months later, they called me and said, well, we do have one slight opening. So if I got my foot in the door and was there for 36 years. And
tell us about your first car.
well, my first car, Troy, was a 1929 Model A Ford, a two-door, five-window coupe, I guess, that my dad bought for me for $75
Nice.
in Santa Barbara, California, way back when. And, I was just thrilled to death, and then my whole family helped paint the car, redo the interior, and all that sort of stuff. And it was really fun. Great car to have.
How about a memorable car experience? Maybe one of the events that you've been on. I remember you and I had a conversation not long ago about a trip you had in Europe in which you were one of the few people to drive a certain car.
Well, yeah, when it comes to, driving cars and having a great time with them, I've had many, many experiences. Very fortunate, to go to Europe and be in the company of people like the late Phil Hill and our European editor, Paul Frere, who was another Le Mans winner back in the day. But I also had the joy of getting to drive in the Mille Miglia Rally in Italy, 1,000 miles around Italy over 3 days, 3 different times, twice with Mercedes-Benz, and then the last time in 2007, it was in a Jaguar C-Type Roadster, and it was just, it's just one of those adventures that is a dream come true.
Thanks for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it. We look forward to maybe having you on again and creating some more fun and talking about cars. This was Tom Bryant as our guest today on Life with Cars in the Memory Lane segment.
It's a real pleasure, Troy, and I always look forward to it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. All right, well, that's it for this week on Life with Cars. Thanks for joining us and listening to our show today. Next week, we're going to be looking to go on a little bit of a racing kick with a couple of guests. Tommy Kendall was a IMSA champion back in the 90s, and we'll try to get Derek Cope, the 1990 Daytona 500 winner, on to talk a little bit about what he's got going on in racing. He's got some unique things to help people get involved in NASCAR and start their careers. Once again, this has been Life with Cars. I'm Troy Olison, your host. Really appreciate you listening to us today. We'll see you next week.